Horror games are set to bring darker settings, heavier tension, and more unsettling encounters. These upcoming titles focus on atmosphere, sound design, and unpredictable threats. Across different styles of horror, each one aims to keep players on edge from start to finish. Let's get into it. Retrieval is an action-adventure game where players control Hana Loche, commander of a research team stranded inside a retro-futuristic subway base on the planet Rhyhalion. The game uses a third-person perspective with shooting and survival mechanics while moving through damaged corridors and sealed stations. Players confront hostile creatures, search for resources, and unlock story events tied to the base. The narrative deals with friendship, love, loyalty, and horror as Hana searches for answers.
Should be left alone.
There's nothing we can do. There is no end.
Ill is a realistic first-person action game set inside a dark research fort controlled by a mysterious entity. Players use guns and melee weapons while managing inventory, repairing gear, and crafting items to survive hostile encounters. Enemies react to the environment with unpredictable behavior, and the physics system affects combat and puzzles. A detailed dismemberment system allows monsters to be damaged in different ways, while binaural audio and heavy weapon animations add weight to every action. Resonance: A Plague Tale Legacy tells a prequel story where players control Sophia, a young plunderer searching for the truth about her past on the Minotaur's Island. The game mixes melee combat, parries, and agile movement while escaping soldiers and other enemies across a maze-like landscape. Players solve puzzles using a Minoan sphere that manipulates light and switch between two time periods to uncover linked events tied to a hidden creature and a spreading curse. M.I.N.S.K puts players in control of an android sent into abandoned cities covered by toxic fog to gather resources for the last human survivors. The game uses a third-person view as the robot moves through ruined buildings, avoids hazards, and deals with hostile machines and scavengers. Story events grow from the link between two robots created by different humans, pushing them to meet and uncover the cause of the devastation. The Sinking City 2 takes place in a flooded version of Arkham, where players move through streets and buildings overtaken by water and strange creatures. The game uses a third-person perspective with gun combat, limited inventory space, and optional puzzles that require backtracking to earlier areas. Players travel by foot or small boats while searching for clues, fighting monsters from the Cthulhu mythos, and uncovering side mysteries that unlock new outcomes and bonuses.
Emily?
The 18th Attic is a psychological spot-the-difference horror game, where players are trapped inside a looping attic and must photograph paranormal anomalies with an instant camera. Each loop requires careful observation, since correct photos remove threats, while mistakes waste limited film. A cat named Mojave can be used to restore sanity and reduce hallucinations. Players switch between relaxed and chase modes while identifying changes in objects, shadows, and figures to unlock memories and survive the loop. The Occultist is a first-person narrative thriller where players control paranormal investigator Alan Rubbles as he travels to the abandoned island of Godstone after his father's disappearance. The game uses stealth, puzzle solving, and environmental interaction instead of direct combat. Alan relies on a mystical pendulum with 5 different abilities to affect objects, uncover clues, and deal with supernatural entities. Progress comes from investigating cult rituals, solving occult-based puzzles, and avoiding hostile spirits across the island.
Humanity's future depended on us. Or so we thought.
Directive 8020 takes place aboard the colony ship Cassiopeia after it crash lands on the planet Tau Ceti F during a mission to save humanity. Players control crew members while making choices that branch the story and affect who survives. Gameplay mixes stealth, quick reactions, and the use of improvised weapons to avoid or confront an alien organism that can mimic humans. Progress depends on decisions, character interactions, and tense encounters inside the damaged ship.
It's our only option. What would Stafford say?
Never forget why you started. Would you look at that? Gets me every time.
Come on, Galileo. What a mess.
Understatement of the year.
What is that?
Coolant, maybe?
What we're doing here is a vital step into a new tomorrow.
Okay, now you are sounding like one of William's training videos.
We have always questioned whether we're alone in the universe. It's only when we come face to face with death that we get our answer. However connected the universe may be, in the end, we all die alone.
Clive Barker's Hellraiser Revival is a first-person action game where players control Aiden as he tries to rescue his girlfriend from the labyrinth after making a deal with the puzzle box known as the Genesis. Configuration. The box grants supernatural abilities that can be combined with conventional weapons during combat. Players confront cultists, creatures, and Cenobites while progressing through story-driven levels, using the box's powers to solve obstacles and survive encounters with Pinhead and his followers.
These sights. But you called for us, and you can no longer return. You can only journey deeper into hell and witness the infinite terror within. The reckoning will be transcendent.
OD is a horror project directed by Hideo Kojima and co-written with Jordan Peele, built around the idea of testing a player's fear threshold through different segments. The game is described as an anthology, with multiple creators contributing scenarios that explore different kinds of fear. Early footage shows characters moving through dark corridors while reacting to unsettling events, suggesting tense, story-driven sequences that rely on atmosphere, rituals, and sudden encounters rather than traditional combat. AMIGO: The Broken Loop is a first-person psychological thriller where players control Julian as she investigates the Focus on Dream Corporation after her friend's death. The game combines story sequences with environmental puzzles that involve manipulating objects, decoding messages, and rebuilding fragmented memories. Julianne uses a slingshot with different projectiles like EMP pellets and smoke bombs to deal with threats and create escape paths. Players gather materials to upgrade the weapon while moving through distorted, dreamlike areas.
Whispers grow into shrill screams, racing through my fragile dreams. The weight of dread grips my bones, pulling me where I shouldn't go. The shadows cry, secrets untold.
John Carpenter's Toxic Commando is a first-person shooter built around 4-player co-op missions against large hordes of infected enemies. Players choose different characters, use guns, grenades, and special abilities, and work together to survive waves of monsters. Teamwork includes reviving allies, sharing ammo, and defending each other during chaotic encounters. Missions take place across semi-open areas where squads can find vehicles with unique weapons or tools to push through enemy swarms.
wrecking our ride!
Could use some help now.
I need some first. Can you all please cover me?
Whatever works.
Crisol Theater of Idols is a first-person action game set on the cursed island of Tormentosa, where players control a soldier named Gabriel on a divine mission. Combat uses a unique system where blood acts as both health and ammunition, forcing players to balance each shot with survival. Players fight grotesque enemies, upgrade blood-based abilities, and collect coins to improve weapons. Progress comes from exploring ruins, solving puzzles, and uncovering the island's history and cult rituals.
In 2026. For our first episode, I hope you've got your sea legs engaged because we're sailing to Tormentosa, an island cursed with eternal storms and facing the wrath of a powerful entity. Tormentosa really does have it all. Beautiful beaches, plenty of places for great food and drink, and welcoming locals. Okay, maybe I lied about the last part. Tormentosa is an island off the coast of Hispania, a rich and strikingly twisted version of Spain, carefully crafted by Madrid-based Vermilla Studios. Creative director David Tornero and his team wanted to make sure that the town itself is as much a character in Crisol as our leading man Gabriel, and to make sure that Spanish culture bleeds into every location. The word Crisol actually means crucible, and the studio has created Tormentosa as a melting pot of different influences from across the country in different eras. This means you'll see Romanesque, Baroque, and of course Gothic architecture combining to bring to life a wholly unique but still definitively Spanish world. But to truly understand Tormentosa, it's time for some lore. Two warring religions have called the island home over the years, the Cult of the Sea and the Church of the Sun. The island was once named Aurora, full of those who worship the flames of the sun god. By the time we get there though, the Cult of the Sea has taken over, and we see lives that are shaped entirely by water. Anchors loom on the skyline, scales are the order of the day when it comes to decor, and those who worship the sun have been labelled heretics and disappeared into the shadows. Playing as Gabriel, a follower of the sun god, we enter a city that has desperately remodelled to get away from its past. But you'll still find history of these warring religions as you wander the streets, including in blood memories that let us catch a glimpse of what came before.
We will calm the waters.
Given that Gabriel needs blood to shoot and stay alive, you'll have to absorb nearby corpses of animals to keep your health up. But these aren't your average livestock. Scales cover their bodies as something in the water has warped and mutated them into land-sea hybrids, something that the town is clearly fiercely proud of. Delicious. And finally, it only seems right to give you a sneak peek at the central hub of Crisol, the fair. Vermilla wanted you to have at least one place where you can take a breather and put down that spiked pistol for a while. And a traditional Spanish fair seemed like a perfect place to do that. All structured around a beautiful carousel, the fair lets you catch up with lone survivors on the island, do some much needed upgrades, and yes, play some carnival games. Each one is seeped in the lore of Tormentosa, with this one letting you literally extinguish the flames of the sun with the water of the sea. So that's a quick behind-the-scenes glimpse at Tormentosa and the world you'll be entering in Crisol Theater of Idols, which is coming to consoles and PC in 2026. You can wishlist it now on Steam. And don't forget to subscribe to Blumhouse Games to make sure you keep up with all of our news and updates from our dev teams.
Ontos is a sci-fi mystery set on the Moon Hotel Samsara, where players control Aditi Amani as she investigates experiments connected to her father. The game combines narrative sequences with hands-on systems, including scavenging materials, operating machinery, and calibrating analog devices. Progress depends on solving experimental trials, making moral choices, and dealing with unsettling encounters. As players move through the interconnected station, each decision leads to different consequences tied to the nature of reality.
Your father thought he knew, and it inspired him to grant wishes.
Who's that? Nightmare.
That's why all of us are here. You want to understand, to know. Then you have to step beyond the walls surround you. Play your father's game. Push the very limits until you're in reality itself.
They call me names I can't forget. Even when I close my eyes, their words follow me.
BrokenLore Unfollow is a first-person psychological horror game where players control Anne, a young woman trapped inside a surreal nightmare linked to social media bullying. The game revolves around solving a mystery while avoiding creatures that represent different traumas from her past. Players use Anne's smartphone to access various functions that affect progression and choices. Decisions throughout the story lead to multiple endings as Anne confronts painful memories and tries to escape the nightmare.
Now they're back, waiting at the edge of my hearing.
If this were only a dream, I could wake.
Liminal Point follows Lyra, a former rock singer who returns to Ashen Point after receiving a strange voicemail connected to her band's past. The game uses an isometric view with limited resources, inventory management, and map-based navigation across locations like mansions, hospitals, and sewers. Players fight or avoid creatures while collecting clues that reveal what happened on the island. Progress depends on careful planning, puzzle solving, and managing supplies during tense encounters.
In the place where hope turned to ash. So come and find me.
Heart of the Forest is an interactive psychological horror game where players guide a group of students trapped in Germany's Black Forest after a hiking trip turns into a supernatural nightmare. The story plays out through full-motion video scenes, with decisions during conversations and tense moments shaping the branching narrative. Players switch between different characters while a vengeful spirit exploits their fears and secrets. Each choice is final, and the outcome determines who survives the ordeal.
Something's here with us. Something evil.
From those we love most of all.
Reanimal is a co-op horror adventure where players control a brother and sister trying to rescue their missing friends and escape a dangerous island. The game supports single-player or shared play, with a directed camera that keeps both characters in view. Players travel by boat and on foot, solve environmental puzzles, and avoid or outsmart twisted creatures. Progress depends on cooperation, timing, and using each character's abilities while uncovering the island's secrets.
So it is not difficult for us to picture the sort of life you are all leading. I know you won't forget us. Good night, and good luck to you all.
Freeze! ADF!
Cinder City is a third-person tactical shooter set in a post-apocalyptic version of Soul, where players take the role of cybernetically enhanced knights. The game features cover-based shooting similar to The Division, with multiple characters who have different combat skills, like shields or projectile control. Players move through a large, shared open world, join co-op missions and dungeons, and fight massive bosses in groups of up to 10 while searching for a missing daughter. Fatal Frame 2 Crimson Butterfly Remake follows twin sisters Mio and Mayu as they become trapped in an abandoned village haunted by spirits. The game revolves around the Camera Obscura, a special device used to photograph and weaken ghosts during encounters. Players move through the village, solve puzzles, and uncover story events tied to the curse. New mechanics like holding hands with Mayu affect movement and story moments, while updated camera features add more options during combat.
また舞台となる水上村の暗く不気味な雰囲気は光と影の描写にこだわり、空気感をリアルに表現しました。さらにサウンドは 7.1.4 チャンネルに対応し、霊がいる気配をもっと身近に感じられるようになっています。20年前のタイトルを最新技術でリメイクしておりますので、今様々なホラーゲームを遊んでいるプレイヤーにも新作として遊んでいただけるクオリティになっていると思います。霊を撮影することで撃退する戦闘が特徴的なシリーズなんですけども、霊をしっかり見つけてシャッターを切る従来の戦闘システムを踏襲しつつ、ピントやズーム、フィルターなど、よりカメラの動く体験を強化する要素を取り入れました。フィルターを切り替えていくことで、見え方が変わってくるんですけども、フィルターは戦闘探索でそれぞれ特徴的な機能を持っています。ですので、襲ってくる霊や状況でフィルターを切り替えながらゲームを進めていくことになります。フルリメイクとしてプレイヤーキャラクターの操作性やアニメーションを徹底的に見直しました。全面的に遊びやすく改善してありますので、特にプレイヤーキャラクターの操作感とアニメーションの滑らかさには注目いただきたいです。実際に廃墟になった村を探索するような没入感が高いプレイが楽しめるようになっていると思います。また今作ではですね、操作性や霊との戦闘、レベルデザインなどはチーム忍者のアクション RPG 制作の経験やノウハウも生かしたリメイクを行っています。チーム忍者のアクションタイトルに多く携わってきた中島秀彦がもう一人のディレクターとして関わっているので、シリーズで最も手触りが良いタイトルになっています。姉である舞と手をつなぐという新要素を追加しました。このことで、ストーリー面だけでなく、アクション面からの姉妹の絆を強く感じられるようになったと思います。この要素はですね、20年前にも検討していたのですが、様々な理由で断念しました。今回フルリメイクでようやく実現したように思います。探索できる場所や収集要素も増えているので、シリーズファンの方にも新たな楽しみがあるものとなっています。
すぐに戻るから。
ゼロ赤い蝶リメイクは、シリーズ2作目を今の技術でフルリメイクしたタイトルになります。シリーズ2作目のリメイクなんですけども、このシリーズはそれぞれストーリーが完結したタイトルですので、この1本で楽しむことができます。 シリーズファンの方、そして初めてのユーザーの方にもぜひ遊んでいただきたいです。2026年初稿発売になります。シリーズで最も美しく、最も怖いゲームになっていますので、ぜひご期待ください。